So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the very first session of organizational behavior. This side, Professor Ankit Walia, and we'll start with the session with the basic concept of organization and behavior, and we'll also discuss the various models related to this particular topic. Now, when we talk about this particular subject, that is about organizational behavior, first of all, we need to understand what do you mean by behavior, because this particular subject is more about a theoretical discussion regarding human behavior and how this human behavior is actually affecting the processing and the dynamics of the organization. Okay. And I'll request all the students so that if you have any query in between, you can just post your message in the chat box, and we can discuss those after discussion on the particular topic. And you can just post your message in chat box. I think I have allowed the option. You can chat with the host. Clear? I hope so. Fine. So let's start with the very first thing, because we'll discuss about this introduction part. What is organizational behavior? Because when we talk about the definition of organizational and behavior, first of all, we need to understand what do you mean by behavior. Okay. If we'll take a very simple language of simple example, that what is behavior first of all? Okay, what is behavior? In a simple language, if we can say that it is a way of action. It is a way of action. For example, if during a certain situation in the organization, an employee may react or may behave differently depends on their conscious mind. Okay. Now, when we talk about why did I perform that, or why did I do that, it totally depends on your experience or your status of mind in which you belongs to. Okay. The important thing when you talk about the behavior is always goal oriented. Always remember, behavior is always goal oriented. For example, if you want to, you could say, achieve a sales target in your organization. Okay, let me type this. I think so. Because when we talk about this particular, you could say, behavior of an individual, when we talk about achieving certain target in the organization, what a particular person will do, definitely the behavior or the approach through which a particular person want to attain that particular goal, that particular, you could say, stimulus, that particular target will always motivate them or motivate him or her in order to achieve that particular target in the organization. Okay. Now always remember, sometimes it happens that a particular specific goal which might not be known to the individual. Okay, sometimes it happens that we actually want to achieve something in our life, in the organization as well, but sometimes we don't know the reason how we have actually achieved that particular target. Okay, the important thing in this particular behavior part, why we are just focusing on this particular topic, that is behavior, the important part in this behavior section is all about how a particular person can become successful. And as you know that because of the dynamics of globalization, or you could say intense competition in the market, each and every individual or each and every company wanted to perform in the organization at its best. Okay, so important thing when we talk about the behavior is always, you could say, associated with, behavior is always associated with an activity. With an activity. Now, when we talk about any activity means what? Activity is basically like any series of action, or you could say any particular work or a duty or responsibility which is being performed. For example, you're working as a sales manager in the company. Sometimes you're promoted as an area sales manager, national sales manager, or whatsoever. Each and every position in the hierarchy of the organization, you might have a different behavior. Depends on the role and responsibility which is being assigned to a particular individual. Okay, so when we talk about this particular activities or the different tasks which we need to perform, these activities are always actually changing the behavior of an individual. Okay, for example, if at you could say at the area sales manager, the sales target is basically 5 lakh rupees, and the area which is being associated to you it's very, very, you could say, typical area where you can generate the sales out of it. Okay, so sometimes the behavior of an individual is totally depends on the activity or the task or the responsibility which is being assigned to the individual, and according to that the behavior of an individual may change. Okay, now whenever we want to predict the behavior, the manager or the authorities must always know that which particular motivational factor will actually provoke or which actually insist a particular individual to perform a particular task. Okay, so always remember, in order to predict behavior, in order to predict behavior, one must know the motives. One must know motives or needs of people, because why they will perform a certain task, there should be a motive behind that. So there should be a motive or a need of the people to insist to insist one minute, students. Yeah, to insist them towards a particular task. Okay, so it's a very basic or fundamental definition about what do you mean by behavior, first of all. Okay, now when we discuss about the second word of this particular subject or this particular discipline, is all about the organization. Okay, now what do you mean by organization, first of all, that we need to understand. Okay, now when we talk about the organization, the first and foremost thing when we come to mind, that is about the you could say, when the two or more person engage in an economic activity, or you could say in an activity of the company through which they can generate some output, generate some, you could say, distribution for an organization. Okay, for example, if you talk about a very simple definition about you could say organization, which was given by Mr. Urvik, the definition says that organization is to determine the activity to accomplish a job and arrange the distribution of activity among the people. Okay, so like when we discuss about the previous part, the organization, the important thing is that the organization is to determine organization is to determine the activities to accomplish, determine the activities to accomplish a job and arrange the distribution of activities among people. Okay, this is a very basic definition which was given by Mr. Urvik. Okay, so Urvik, basically the definition given by them. Okay, now second definition, if we talk about the organization, it is nothing but these are the social invention for accomplishing through group effort. Okay, let me type this. I think this definition is given by Gary Johns, and definition suggests that an organization are social invention. You can see that because society, the different people from society actually are clubbing together in order to achieve the goal, and you could say the target, or you could say uh, the objectives of the organization. So organizations are basically social inventions for accomplishing goals through group effort, because you know that each and every organization is basically the collective effort of all the individual working in the company, and these collective efforts are basically helping the company to achieve their goals. Okay. Now, if you can see this definition, there are three important points out there. First point, which is called social invention. Okay, we need to understand these 3 points differently now. Social invention. The second point is accomplishing goals. And the third point suggests that group efforts. Third point suggests that group efforts. So we need to understand what is social invention first. Okay. Now, what is social invention? That we need to understand, because when we talk about the word social, okay, which derive from society, or society, it means that is about the gathering of people. Okay. So when we talk about the social invention, it is basically the people that primarily make up an organization. People that primarily make up an organization. Okay, that is a very basic definition about what is social invention. Okay, the second definition, if I talk about, that is your accomplishing goals. Now, when we talk about accomplishing goals, it means that goal of an organization or the purpose behind the organization is basically existing in the market. So when we discuss about accomplishing goals, it means that it should be basically integrate with the personal goals of all the individual associated with the organization. So always remember, accomplishing goal, it means the integrated efforts of all individuals in order to attain the purpose of company. Okay, and the last part, when it comes to this definition, that is about the group efforts. And group effort, as you can see, that it is a collective effort of all the individual. Now, group efforts may be in terms of, you could say, physical and intellectual efforts of individuals. So any doubt to anyone, what is organization and what is behavior? We now will just club these two parts and we'll understand what is organization behavior. Any query to anyone, please? I can see the chat box. I think it's... Yes, friend, you can post your message in chat box. Let me just enable chat box right now. I think chat box option, I cannot see it right now. I think I have to give the rights to speak up. Okay, so I'm doing one thing. I'm just unmuting everyone right now. If you have any query, please do let me know till this point, please. Is there any doubt to anyone, please, till this point? What is organization and what is behavior? If not,
no, sir.
No doubts. Fine. Thank you so much. And I think, will you be able to write in the chat box, or there is no option of chat box? I think so. Okay, fine. So we'll just move further now. And in between, if you have any query, you can raise your hand. Okay. So I'll just unmute you in between. Okay, fine. So the next part, we need to understand the definition of organizational behavior. What is OB when it's come to its definition? Okay. So when we discuss about this particular term separately, what is organization, what is behavior, Okay. Now, when I'm talking about this particular purpose, what is organization behavior? Okay. In a simple term, if we talk about, it is a study and the application of knowledge about how people act within the organization. Okay. So it is the study and application of knowledge about how people act within the organizations. Okay, this is a very basic definition about a particular organization behavior, because organization behavior is basically nothing but how the worker or the employee in the company are basically behaving in various situations or various, you could say, challenges which they face from their top management. Okay. Now, when we discuss about this particular behavior topic, definitely this organization behavior is a pervasive function. Okay. And it is available like when we talk about in any organization, when it comes to government, private, school, service sector, manufacturing sector, at each and every, you could say, sector, these particular subject or this particular analysis is always available. Now, when we discuss about this particular OB as a behavior, we need to understand about what is the basic purpose behind studying the OB. Okay. Because when we discuss about this particular OB subject or OB the discipline, it is basically helping the manager or helping the top management to make a transition to the new paradigm, to the new paradigm. Okay, because what is the meaning of this particular line? We need to understand that as well. Okay, because when I'm talking about the new paradigm, it means that the company always need to understand about how the activities or different, you could say, actions which is being taken by the top management are affecting the functionality of the employee of an organization. Okay, because when we talk about the new paradigm is all about basically the technological advancement. We talk about the quality management, we talk about the you could say benchmarking setting in the company. Okay, so each and every parameter which we need to understand, and how these parameters are basically transiting from one thing to other particular part, so that will come under category of your definition. Okay, now when we discuss about the OB, there are three major dimensions of OB, that is technical, conceptual, and human. Okay, so we have basically three major dimensions on which the OB always depends on. Okay, now when we discuss about the first one, that is about the technical dimension. What is technical dimension? First of all, we need to understand. Okay, because when we talk about this particular technical dimension, there are basically the managerial expertise which we always actually insist with. Okay, so when we discuss about the first part, what is technical dimension in OB? Technical dimension nothing but basically the manager's expertise in particular functional area, Okay, now particular functional area means the knowledge about a particular discipline. For example, if a particular person belongs to engineering, so that particular knowledge he must possess. If a particular person belongs to you could say management, or especially in finance if we talk about, so the person must know the dimension, the knowledge about that particular field and discipline. Okay, now when we discuss about the next part, okay, it's about the conceptual. Okay, because the important thing in today's world and today's dynamics, the particular person always focus on the technical dimension, but usually the conceptual and the human dimension of the jobs are usually, you could say, ignored by the top management when we talk about the assessment of the organization. Okay, so always remember, the practicing managers always ignore about conceptual and human dimension. Conceptual and human dimensions of the job, or of, you could say, of their jobs. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the conceptual dimension, conceptual is basically how innovative, how creative, basically you can actually use your knowledge in order to give the best output to the organization. When we discuss about the human dimension is all about the need, feeling, or emotions, thought process of an individual, and whether the company is basically assessing all these parameters or not. That will come under category of your uh, uh, human dimensions. Okay. Now, when we discuss about this particular definition, which is one more, you could say, aspect, if we talk about this particular definition, because we always need to remember about OB as a subject, OB as a discipline, that in each and every organization, okay, the important thing is that the people should be the utmost priority. So always remember people as organizations, people as resources, and the last one, people as people. Okay, so always remember when we discuss about any organization, the study of the OB is totally based on people as organization, people as resources, and people as people, how a particular individual is assessing, analyzing the behavior of an individual or behavior of an employee in the company. And according to that, you must need to understand the insights of any organization by studying the various parameters of organizational behavior. Okay. Any doubt, any query to anyone, please? Okay, because when we discuss about the people as organization, because without human being, without employee, definitely there is no uh, existence, or no, you could say, a value, or there is you could say, no assessment of any organization. So that is about the people as organization. Second is about the people as resources, because these are the main resources which we have. According to that, a particular organization always known for about their team members, about their, you could say, their core team, their honors, their think tank. They are the main body, those who always actually helping the company when it's come to the resources. And people as people, it's very important that you always need to understand the humanistic management about understanding their thought process, their behavior, their salary structure, their financial motive, non-financial motives, etc. I hope so it is clear, everyone. Yes, Surin. Shall we move, I think, to the next part, if it is clear? Okay. Now, I'll just discuss very important, you could say, discipline, important points which we need to analyze, which we need to address. Okay. The important thing over here is that whenever we are analyzing the study of the organization, it's very important that the particular person must always associated with the following queries, with the following challenges. Okay. Now the first part which we need to discuss over here. Just in 1 minute. Okay. Just wait. Yes. So when we discuss about the addressing the major issue, okay, the point over here is that when we discuss about organization behavior, because organization is behavior is basically made up of different disciplines, okay, and the different discipline addresses certain issues for that. Okay. Now the different issues related to OB, which we need to analyze importantly. Okay. The first point we'll discuss now, that is about What facilitate the accurate perception and attribution? What facilitates accurate perception and attribution? Now, perception all about the human need, their requirements, their expectation. Each and everything will come under OB behavior or study of OB. Okay. Second point, what influence individual, comma, group and organizational learning and the development and the development of individual attitude towards work. It's very, very important actually, because when we talk about how the behavior of an individual or a group, or you could say a particular team in an organization is basically changing or is basically influencing because of the changes in the behavior of particular person. So always remember what influence individual, group and organization learning and the development of individual attitude towards work. This is one of the most important study which come under OB. The point number third which comes over here, how do individual differences in personality comma personal development comma and career development affect individuals behavior and attitude. Now you can see that the individual differences in personality, definitely each and every employee is different in the company. Each and every individual having their personal goal or personal targets, and how a particular person want to advance their career, want to actually see their career development in the future. Important thing is that how the things are going on, how the things are basically behaving in the company. That is again the most important characteristics which we need to go through with. Okay. The next part, what motivates people to work? What motivates people to work? Now, when we talk about the motivational factor, that may be financial or non-financial, okay, the important thing over here is that the motivational factor should be associated with the need of a particular person, okay, and how the company are basically creating the stimulus in order to motivate that person so that he can work for the betterment of the company, he can work for the you could say the development of the company, growth of the company in a right direction. And how it would be done, it is the decision of the top management. Okay, next one, point number 5, again one of the most important challenge or most important you could say parameter when you talk about OB, that is about the reward system. Reward system in an organization. What sort of reward system we have in the organization is one of the most important challenge, or one of the most important you could say dilemma in the mind of the manager in the company. Okay, now when you talk about the reward system, it rewards maybe in terms of bonus, maybe in terms of increments, maybe in terms of any perks, okay, or any you could say holidays. It depends on the need and requirement of the individual. Accordingly, he or she uh, can definitely work for the betterment of the organization. So that is again the one of the most important part, that is about the OB, 6 point. Next one, how do managers build effective teams? How do managers build effective teams? Please always remember whatever point we're discussing right now, these points are basically the units we have in the syllabus as well. Okay. Now, when you discuss the building of the teams, building of team is nothing but is a collective or integrated efforts. Now, building a team, you could say integrating their confidence, and up to what extent the manager of the company can actually entrust an individual or the team member so that he or she can help in order to achieve the organizational goals. So this integration, the building of team is totally depends on the trust factor, the cohesiveness of the team, and how that particular cohesiveness, how that integrated effort is helping the company in order to achieve the target of the organization. Okay, the next point now. Point number 7 now. Now the next challenge when we come to the organizational behavior, it's all about what contribute to effective decision making. What contributes to effective decision making. Now, when we talk about decision making, is all about whether it is participative or whether it is only an autocratic way, or you could say the one directional approach in order to take the decisions. Like for example, if we talk about the autocratic and democratic way, democratic means you are actually inviting each and every individual, your hierarchy in the company is open up, so that each and every person can actually contact the top management whenever he or she is facing certain problem in the organization. So whether it is participative or either autocratic, it is again one of the most important factor when it's come to decision making in the company, because decision making about not only when it's come to the benefit to the company, but ultimately in the long run, it will affect the functionality of the organization as well. Okay. Next one now. What are the constituents of effective communication? Constituents of effective communication. Okay. Now, how the company can improve the communication? What are the barriers of communication you have in the company? What are the, you could say, the lapses we have when it comes to the hierarchy of roles and responsibility? These particular challenges, these particular study will be the part of your effective communication studies. Okay. Now, point number 9, please. Okay, now next point, it is point number 9. The point number 9 says that how can power be secured and used productively? How can power be secured and used productively? Now, power is all about basically the responsibility for a particular position, and how the power can be used by the company or used by the manager in the company in order to run a company in a smooth fashion. So most important part when it's come to the this particular organization behavior, the power, or you could say the position which a particular individual held in the company, and how this power can be used by an individual in the organization. That is again one of the most important characteristics of organizational behavior. The next part, what factors contributes to effective negotiation? Now, when you come to negotiation may be of any type. Okay, when we come to the clashes, when we come to differences, discrepancies, when we come to differences among the management, between the management and the workers. So Negotiation basically nothing but a win-win situation for both the parties. Okay, how this particular negotiation activities or negotiation part is also being handled by the company in order to contribute towards the success of the organization. So again, the negotiation power, the negotiation methodology, again one of the most important characteristics when it comes to organization behavior. Okay, next one, conflict. Now, how can conflict be resolved and managed? Okay, 12th point we have, how can jobs and organizations be effectively designed? And the last point we have under this, how can managers help workers deal effectively with change? Okay, so worker deal effectively. Change means any sort of, you could say, upgradation, any, you could say, situation which the company is facing, any type of, you could say, the challenges, the contingencies arise in the company, how the companies are basically facing all those challenges properly. That is again the one of the part of your dealing or handling situation in an effective manner. Okay, so this is all about the major challenges when we come to addressing the organizational behavior. Is it clear, everyone? I think so. I'm just unmuting everyone right now. Is there any query to anyone, please, as of now? Because we discussed the basic concept of OB right now, or challenges of OB, you can say. Yes, friend, you can unmute yourself. I have just given the rights to you. Any query to anyone, please? Haji, any doubt?
I think to look at the authority also plays an important part in the power and power dynamics in an organization.
Mr. Diljit, I think just you have to wait for 1 minute. I think there is some disturbance from my side. 1 minute, okay? I'm not able to hear you properly. Just a minute, please. Yes, Mr. Diljit, please kindly repeat your question.
So I was saying, the power dynamics in an organization also comes along with authority and the practices the manager has gone through in order to, in a hierarchical change. When the manager moves up in the ladder, the behavioral change and the team workflow also changes.
Okay.
Wanted to share that as well.
See, I think what I can understand from your doubt, actually, because you're talking about the changes in the hierarchy and how this hierarchical change basically might be, you could say, affecting the performance or output of the company. Okay, what I can understand from your doubt, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, because power can be secured and used productively. Because see, when we talk about on the practical grounds, the power may be misused or power may be, you could say, used effectively. And as you can see, because like we all are working professionals, and when we work in an organization, nowadays when we talk about the ethical values, when it's come to the you could say the ethical perspective, which we always need to keep in mind about what are the, you could say, the steps or the, you could say, the activity, or you could say again, I think you understand about the destructive and constructive politics in the organization. Okay, so these are the, you could say, some of the major challenges is the company do have when we talk about the assigning a power to someone and how a particular individual is using that power. This is all about the surveillance which we always need to create in order to watch all these activities in the organization. Some of that is the only concern, or only, you could say, way how we can resolve such issues in the company. Mr. Diljit, I think, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. It is. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So students, I think we are taking a break of 10 minutes now and we'll get back to you at 6:05 sharp. Okay. So just 10 minutes break in between and we'll get back to you 6:05. Perfect. Yes, friend, we should continue now. Okay, so we'll start with the next topic now. That is about the different perspective of OB. Okay, because as you know that we have certain, you could say, scientific approach, we have bureaucratic approach, we have Hawthorne study experience. According to that, we have actually classified the background of OB, and we'll discuss that historical background of OB now. Okay, so the next topic we have, that is about the historical background of organizational behavior. Now, the first approach which we have under historical, which is, you know, that I think F.W. Taylor principle, it is also called scientific management approach. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the scientific management approach, first of all, this approach is developed by the F.W. Taylor in the 20th century. And what the Taylor is basically suggesting, or what the rationale of this particular approach, that is scientific approach, that job specialization and the mass production should be the most important criteria of any organization. Because what they are assuming, that employees are motivated largely by money only, and to increase the output of the company, the manager must have to give the promising monetary benefits or monetary incentive to their workers. Okay, now basically, as you know that each and every approach is having some pros and cons. So again, this approach was also criticized by many workers or many employees as well, because in this approach, the human, or you could say the humanistic management, is not being talked about. Okay, so important thing in this case, the scientific management approach, first of all, it is developed by F.W. Taylor. Okay, the major rationale, the major, you could say, the outcome of this particular approach is the major rationale, the major rationale of scientific approach is job specialization, and mass production. But what actually they have suggested, or what they have actually assumed, that employees are largely motivated by money, and in order to increase output, company must have to provide monetary incentives to efficient workers. Okay, so always remember, the Taylor's theory are based on this particular approach about the employees are largely motivated by monetary factors only, and the major two dimension which they have covered is about job specialization and the mass production. Okay, now this approach having some criticism as well. Okay, the first criticism is what about that humanity of labor. Okay, or you could say humanistic approach or humanistic management is completely ignored, or we can simply in a language says that the human factor, or their emotions, their approach, their traditions, their thought process are completely ignored. Okay, so because in this case the humans are considered only as a machine, you just work with them and you will just generate output out of them. Okay, so that should not be the criteria for each and every organization. Okay, now the more better approach or more improved approach, we can say, that is called the bureaucratic approach. Okay, the second approach we have. bureaucratic approach. Okay. Now, what the bureaucratic approach actually? Because as you can see that the scientific management approach was completely focused on interaction between the workers and the task. Okay. But when we discuss about the bureaucratic approach, first of all, this was suggested by the Max Weber. Okay. And what the Max Weber suggests that the bureaucracy is always logical, always rational, and always efficient. Okay. And the major assumption with the Max Weber has proposed that the one structure would work best for all organization. One structure would be best fitted for all the organization. Okay. Now, what actually the you could say the criticism of this study as well is basically they again not emphasize on the human dimensions. Okay. Okay. So in this case, again, the Max Weber approach was basically because scientific approach, as you can see that it was about only workers and the task. Okay. How a particular person can be more effective, it's only because of monetary factor. But the theory, first of all, this theory was proposed by, first of all, Max Weber. Okay. This theory was developed by Max Weber and what he suggested that the bureaucracy is logical, rational and efficient. Bureaucracy is logical, rational and efficient, and basically one structure would work best for all organization. One structure would work best for all organizations. Okay. Now again, the criticism of this factor as well, or this theory as well. The criticism is again nothing but they did not emphasize the human dimension. The human dimension. That is the second approach we have. Now the next approach we have after this, that is about your Hawthorne studies. Hawthorne studies. Okay. Now what is Hawthorne studies that we need to understand? As you can see that the study which is given by Taylor and the Weber, the attention was more rational, logical approach towards productivity only. Okay. But these, both the studies were criticized because of the ignorance of workers' humanity. Okay. Both the above mentioned approach were focused on productivity and ignored workers' humanity. This was a criticism of the first two. Okay. Now the study that is about the Hawthorne study we are talking right now, because nothing but it is a Hawthorne experiment which was actually done in 1924 by the group of professor just to inquire about the human aspect of work and the working condition at the Hawthorne plant of Western Electric Company, Chicago. Okay, the finding of this study were given a name like human relation to studies because there are a number of findings which came out. The human element in the workplace was considerably more important as per Hawthorne studies, and the workers are influenced by social factor, and the behavior of individual worker is determined by the group only. Okay, so this particular study is basically focused on human element, and like, because I'll just give you a brief about this particular study, that in 1924 Hawthorne experiment Hawthorne experiment was conducted by group of professors at Hawthorne plant of Western Electric Company, Chicago. Okay, and the major finding, okay, the major finding of this study was human element was considered was considered considered more important and humans are influenced by social factors Okay, so always remember, because this Hawthorne study is more prominent, actually we can see that because this is the first theory which was suggested, or which were giving the claim that the human factor is the most important factor in any organization. Okay, now I hope so these three theories are clear to everyone. Diljit, Rahul, and Sudhakar. I think we have 3 students right now in the class. Clear, everyone? I think. So I'm moving to the next topic then. That is about the nature of OB, the last topic of the day as well. Okay. Then we'll move to the doubt session in the last. Okay. The nature of organizational behavior. The first one, it is a separate field of study, not a discipline only. Always remember, because this particular organizational behavior, or this particular discipline, is basically nothing but a complete or different a study, or you could say an area which the company must have to have a focus on a priority basis. So it is separate study, not only a discipline. The first and foremost about this particular. Now, why this particular part is basically because this OB is having multidisciplinary orientation. Okay. Multidisciplinary orientation. Okay, that's the very first point. Now, the second point in this particular nature of OB is it is interdisciplinary approach. It is an disciplinary approach. And what is interdisciplinary approach? Because this particular OB is not associated with only, you could say, human behavior, because it is associated with psychology. When we talk about sociology, when we talk about anthropology, etc. So it is basically covering the major discipline of human behavior. It's not only about the one factor or the one discipline which you can talk about. Okay. The next one, it is an applied science. Because in this particular applied science, we are talking about the various application of human behavior. Okay. Application of human behavior. Okay. Third point under this, it is a normative science. It is a normative science. Okay. Now, what is normative science? That we need to understand. Okay. Normative science is basically all about the positive science, which always talked about cause and effect. Okay. It is basically a positive science talks about cause and effect relationships. Okay. So always associated with that, normative science deals with basically cause and effect relationship and how a particular person can actually socially accepted all such norms. Okay. The next one, or the fifth point, is about it is a humanistic and optimistic approach. Humanistic and optimistic approach. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the humanistic and optimistic approach, this approach is basically towards thinking and feeling of human beings. Address the issues related to thinking and feeling of human beings. Thinking and feeling of human being. Okay. So that is an important part which we can understand in this particular category of your approaches of organizational behavior. Okay. So that is all about the nature of organizational behavior. Okay. Now, as like we discuss about this particular part about different disciplines which we actually go through with this particular section. Now we have a discipline of OB, as we can see that is about the psychology, sociology, social psychology, anthropology, and economics. Okay. So we'll discuss all this point one by one. OB as interdisciplinary approach. Okay. The next topic we have, because make sure today we are discussing only the base of this particular subject. OB as interdisciplinary approach. Okay. Now the first disciplinary approach we are talking right now, that is psychology. Okay. Now when we discuss about what is psychology, if we talk about the psychology are associated with why an individual behave in a particular way. Why an individual behaves in a particular way. It's very, very important. Okay. Because the psychology is always talked about why, the factor of why a particular person is going through in a particular direction. And that will be the major factor which comes under psychology. The second point we have, that is about the sociology. Now, what is sociology? We need to understand this part as well. Because sociology is basically is all about the study of social behavior. Okay, when we talk about the study of social behavior, important part, relationship among social groups, because that is again the one of the important part, relationship among social groups and societies and the maintenance of social order, maintenance of social order. Okay, so there's a major focus area when we talk about sociology. Okay, the next point we have, that is social psychology. Okay, the social psychology is basically nothing but the study of human behavior in the social situation. Okay, the study of behavior in social situation, not organized situation. Okay, so how a particular individual can actually react in the society whenever any challenges occur. Okay, the next one, anthropology. Okay, the anthropology is basically the human behavior as a whole, if we talk about when it's come to culture, belief, custom, idea, value, or other parameters of society. Okay, so anthropology basically deals with the study of human behavior, the study of human behavior as a whole. Okay, as a whole, consider we are talking right now the various parameters, which includes your culture, when we discuss about the beliefs, when we discuss about the customs, ideas, and values, and any other parameter related to this particular category. So that is the part of your anthropology. The next one is your economics. I think it's very simple. That is, economics are associated with the economic viability and sustainability of a company. Okay, that is feasibility of economic efforts, feasibility of economic efforts. Okay, and the last one which comes, that is about your political science. Political science. Now, political science are basically associated with the study of the conflict, the allocation of power, the manipulation of power, and what about the self-interest as well. So political science are basically associated with the arrangements in the organization, the study of arrangements in the organizations related to conflict, comma, allocations of power, manipulation of power, self-interest, etc. So these are the major, you could say, related areas or the study part which we can go for when we discuss about this particular portion of political science. Okay, so this is all about this interdisciplinary approach about this particular topic, that is about OP. Okay, and from tomorrow definitely we'll start with the next topic, that is about different level of organizational behavior. Okay, so that's all for today. And now the house is open for doubts. You can ask the doubts if you have any. I'm just unmuting each and everyone. Okay. Yes, friend, you can ask the doubts now. Diljit, Rahul, and Sudhakar. I think I can see 3 participants. If you have any query from today's session, please do let me know. Yes, Mr. Diljit, Rahul, and Sudhakar. Am I clearly audible? You can unmute yourself if you have any query. If not, then we'll sign out for the day.
All good, sir. Thank you.
All good? Fine, Diljit. Thank you so much. Rahul and Sudhakar, any query, please?
No, sir, but I have one doubt. Like
Yeah, please.
last week, you just teased us about financial management. So it's part of supply chain and logistic management.
Yeah, definitely. Because like we talk about financial management, it is somehow directly or indirectly associated with the supply chain or logistics.
Okay, because I just choose two subjects like supply chain and logistic management. So
Because
that's the
in
reason I
supply
asked.
chain, yeah, logistic is basically the broader term, and supply chain is a part of that.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
like if you want to go through the study of that, definitely we have, because see, it is almost somehow related with that, because finance with supply chain management, because see, there are different discipline of the approaches, how or on what ground you want to study certain discipline or a particular subject. It totally depends on your perspectives.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I think so. And if you have any query, Rahul, you can approach me actually. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, sure, sure. Sudhakar, any doubt you have? Mr. Sudhakar, any doubt? I hope so, no. So thank you, Diljit, Rahul, and Sudhakar. And we'll continue with the same session in the next class about the levels. And most important topic tomorrow we'll discuss, that is about the models of OB. So models, levels, this is the part or the content which we'll discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay? Clear,
Okay,
everyone?
sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Take care, please.